तरफ से मेरा जो भी एक्सपीरियंस है स्टूडेंट्स
सर
के लिए, यूनिवर्सिटी की फैकल्टी के लिए, उनकी मैनेजमेंट के लिए, जहां तक जो चीज़ भी मैं शेयर कर सका,
जी हाँ
मैं
सर,
इंशाल्लाह इस
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
इंटरनेशनल एक्सपीरियंस में मैं हाजिर हूँ। और
थैंक
जो
यू
कुछ
सो
मेरी इन्वेंटरी में है, इट हैज टू, आपने देखा होगा मैंने पोस्ट लगाई थी अपनी फेसबुक पे, और
जी
वो दिस इज द समरी ऑफ इट।
जी हाँ
मेरी ख्वाहिश है कि आई
जी
विल शेयर ऑल सो
जी हाँ।
दैट आई लिव फुल एंड डाई एम्प्टी, दैट इज द होल जिस्ट ऑफ इट। और इंशाल्लाह
वंडरफुल
अल्लाह ताला
जी,
आसान करे जी।
एंड इट्स
यस
रियली ऑनर टू हैव यू सर। सर काफ़ी हमारे स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं वो ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट इट फॉर्मली इफ़ यू हैव अ परमिशन।
जी सर, प्लीज गो अहेड।
जी जी, सो लेट मी जस्ट okay, welcome all of you to the Kalwas platform. Today we have a very distinguished speaker that is not only the motivational speaker, he is a positive influencer, the peak performance coach, the talent management consultant, and inspirational writer. Uh, the most charming personality and attractive personality. When he speaks, a lot of people they just try to listen all the way when he speaks. So welcome the Mr. Kamran Ahmed Siddiqui. Yeah, let me just give a profile, a little bit profile, because we cannot explain his excellency in such short span of time. But I will try to cover the different things which he has been doing and which he has been involving in that all these things. So the Mr. Kamran has an accomplished professional with extensive 28 years of senior leadership work experience with various renowned multinational in developing and executing talent management and other HR strategies to drive sustainable business and culture change. In the region Middle East, he has offered his training services to more than 40,000 plus professionals from middle level to senior level and talent management consultancy to top organization. Moreover, he has proven a track record of leading transformational change to energize the capabilities of organizations and individuals through his talent management consultancy and performance coaching work. In addition to that, he has an author of two inspirational books. The masterpiece, the brilliant book, which is the 24 gold coins, a really inspiring book which has changed the life of me as well. It's a really enlightenment to see that book, and as I forwarded to my students as well and they have gone through. The another very interesting book is the Talent Digger, which are also been translated in so other languages. He also regularly writes his leadership mentoring articles in Gulf News under the column expert advice. By qualification, he has a professional engineer and he holds master in business administration, and he has been approved trainer by the different organizations including the UAE government in oil and gas sector as talent management advisor and performance coach. So welcome to the this Kalwas session. Let me just add one thing, that he is currently based in Abu Dhabi and UAE Emirates, right? So United Arab Emirates. So now, Sir Kamran, every now and then we see your training activities and articles being published at different platforms, your exceptional books. I mean, you are the gem. When I see your contribution to the, in a true manner to the world, I really love to hear you and the way you articulate the things. And in research we say try to link the different activities. The way you link the different activities and come up with the different examples, that is so exceptional. So we will be asking different things from you, but for now I just hand over this session to you, that please enlighten us on your brilliant and masterpiece work, that is the 24 gold coin. That how did you, this idea came to your mind, from where you got inspiration, and how it triggered, because it's a very interesting book for everyone. I mean, it is for the age of 15 or age of 25 or 45 or 75. People get motivated when they see it, that never to give up, come up with the positive mindset up, and you just included each and everything. It's a complete package. So how did it start all?
Thank you so much, Dr. Heather, for such an elaborated introduction of mine, and I'm humbled with this, with the gratitude
Thank
that
you.
the person you have just introduced was altogether a different personality
Yes.
uh, some years back, and I'm going to uncover that part of it. Then this is a matter of my excitement,
Sir.
and I'm so jubilant with that fact that today, inshallah, I'm going to talk about a lot of interesting factors and some of the gist of the life,
Yes.
and has a power and insight
Yes.
that if all of my listeners who have been listening to me, I'm going to promise one thing from them.
Yes.
And that promise is that whatsoever the best I have learned over the journey of right now 30 years of my professional career, going across 25 plus different countries, trained around 40,000 plus professional from middle to C-level executives, I'm going to share the best of the best during these moments.
Thank you
But
so
this
much.
session is not going to be like a lecture. It
Sir.
is something of value. It
Yeah.
might have a power that if you will focus on it, it might change some of the paradigms today. So
Yes.
please have a pen and pencil available with you. Because whatsoever things which I'm going to talk about, and we are going to do some one real time activity together as well. So, important aspect, my promise, I'm going to deliver the best. One promise I'm going to take from. And that promise is that if you feel today, towards the end of the session, that there is even a small fraction of the thing to feel like that is of value and can make something, a positive change in your life or someone else, your promise towards me, which I will assume that you will give it a try, not from tomorrow, right from today. Because the
Wonderful.
most important aspect it is not about the knowledge. It is the application of that knowledge with conviction, which makes a lot of different changes. So let's start with this perspective and let's start with the prayer.
Sir.
And join me with this prayer.
Yes.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Oh Allah, open up the door of wisdom on us. Make our work easy and remove the utterance of my tongue so that people should understand. So, my dear friends, that is the today's topic about 24 gold coin. 24 gold coin is a life philosophy. It is a gist of those 24 years of my professional experience when I was been writing down that book. And
Okay.
that journey has started some time back. From where that journey has been started, I remember when I was being a grade 2 student.
Mhm.
My mother has given me my first pocket money. And on the same time, when she given me that pocket money, she held my hand and took me to a nearby the market, and
Yes.
she took me to a bookstore. And
Okay.
she asked me to buy a book from that. I remember being such a small child at that time. I was not having any eagerness to buy the book rather than to go for some candies and sort of other stuff.
Yeah.
But she insisted on me and she said, "You must have to buy that book." And I remember she actually purchased a book for me, and that sort of episode happened in every time whenever she given me that pocket money. She took my hand, took me to the bookstore, asked me to the purchase the book, and I remember that process keep on going for a certain period in time. I was a bit rebellion at the start because by virtue of that thing that I'm not been able to consume that money for the sake of just getting some of the candies, I didn't pay any attention to those books which my mother actually bought from my pocket money, forced me to do that. But at some time, I remember that it was a moment I was having nothing to do, and there was one of the book which I recently purchased at that age when I was being in grade 2. I just hold that book, and when I opened up that book and I started reading that story, it captured my attention. It captured my likeliness into it. It was so I'm going to say interesting that I keep on reading that thing. And that title of that book, that story was 24 gold coins. Actually, it was an interesting story. And that story which had captured my attention was about a fairy who used to come in one of the person who was being so much complaining about his tragedies in life, about the challenges which that person was facing. And one day was keep on praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, please help me. I'm having these issues, these challenges, and this sort of stuff. And in this story, one day a fairy came to that person, and that fairy asked to that person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has listened to all of your prayers. Now, from today onward, whenever you will wake up, you are going to get a quota of 24 gold coins, which you will be get. And that is come to you on every day with three conditions: that you are not going to save it for the next day. You have to invest, you have to spend, or you have to invest these 24 gold coins on the same day. If you will not take any decision about this gold coin, every hour that gold coin will melt away in front of your eyes. Honestly speaking, that was the thing which I remembered, that part of the story. I forget about that, what was the end of it, but that has opened up a different domain for myself in my life. And I remember that from that day onward, that stories and the books entered into my life. And I'm so much thankful, actually, later to the years, that when I built up my own library, I traveled across the world, I buy the books and just put it over there. And I'm so much glad and thankful for my mother that she opened up that door of wisdom in front of myself. So when I was being gone across visiting in different countries, and I met with thousands and thousands of other people, and I tried to see what is a pattern which makes some of the people successful and happy, and what is a pattern which makes some of the people not that much successful and they are having a lot of challenges in their life. The one thing which I got an insight was that those people who are successful and happy in life, they are the one who are being utilizing their assigned 24 hours in a day in a wise way. They are the one who are being making a conscious decisions about that. And the people who are not being happy and successful and dejected, they are the one who do not have any consciousness about that 24 quota of these arts. I recall at that instance, I recall that story which I've read in grade as a grade 2 student, and that insight has opened up for myself, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so kind that actually not only to that person, actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to every person right now, including yourself, myself, this quota of 24 gold coins every day, because this is the metaphor of those 24 hours in our life. So that was the first part, which has I chosen the title why it should be 24 gold coin, because every person has this quota of 24 hours in a day. That was one thing. Number two, the second aspect came that when I've been going through my school and my college and my universities, even to the first job, I would like to highlight to some of my listeners who have been listening to me right now. I was not that personality which is in front of you. I was a totally an introvert sort of a person. The person who was lacking having a lack of confidence. The person who had not been able to express himself. The person who was having a lot of self-doubts. And I was being that type of personality till the age of 24. And I got my first mentor in my life. And that mentor, that coach, which has guided me, he started seeing me something positive within myself. At that instance, he told me that I have some of the ability to be a good trainer, which I was not being in my wildest dream. I cannot think about that. I can be a trainer, because in that instance, the type of personality I have was not having in even a fraction of that element. I can do that. But he induced that element of trust. He induced that element of self-belief that I'm having that ability. And from there onward, when I started experimenting myself, I started getting a different reality for myself. And then my life totally started changing, because in that instance, when I started doing first of my session, I feel like I can do it. And from that day onward, I decided about myself that if I have to live for another 24 years of my life, it would be totally different. I make a commitment with myself. So that was a transition. That was a change which happened in my life. Was a 24 years of my initial life. I feel like I've wasted, but actually the next 24 years, alhamdulillah, it happened to be a different story for myself. So that was another reason when I put it as 24 gold coin onto that. The third reason was that 24 karat gold reflect the purity. 24 karat gold is the most pure of the gold. I made a promise to all of my readers in this book. I make a promise. I said that this book has been written from the core of my heart with the utmost of my sincerity, with the purpose of leaving a bit of contribution and a legacy for my kids and for my family and friends and for the generation to come. So I decided about it that whatsoever I'm going to write it down, it is going to be passed on to the generation to come, with the vibes of those sincerity which has been induced into it, it is going to make a little bit of difference. And I'm so happy and so glad when Dr. Heather was sharing his experiences, and there are a lot many people which come back to me and they ask me that this book, this message has touched upon them. So I always remember this book is going to make this purpose because it was been written from the sincerity of heart. And anything you write it down, anything you say from the core of your heart, it has an impact. That is a message for all of you, that whatsoever you do it from the core of your heart, do it from the sincerity, do it from the depth of your love and commitment, and you will see the magic started happening. So that was another reasoning when I was being able to give it a title as 24 gold coins. Then one of the aspects, but I would say in our life, as I have experimented with myself, I have seen that the initial years of my life was different, because at that time when we are been going through school and colleges, we had a different dream, we have a different goals, and our goals was very small and very limited. For example, when I was being in the school, I was looking for that how I can get the admission in the best college in my city. When I got the admission in that college, then the perspective was, how can I get an admission to the best technical university in my city or in my country? When I got that, then I realized it is not the goal. The real goal is to get the job after that. When I got the job, then I realized there are hundreds and thousands of best jobs available. Then I started going for it. Then I realized it is not only the job, you have to go into international. When you go to the international, then you realize you have to cover a lot of ground and you have to move around in all the places, just because the world around you should recognize that. When I started getting a little bit of closer into that part, then I feel like that now I'm being grown a bit older. Now my kids have been growing up and my goals started shifting towards that, and I started thinking about the same stuff for them. That realization has given me that we go through an evolutionary process. So this book, in the 24 gold coin, I talk about this evolutionary process, that first our professional life, how we can attain the best of the best success in our professional life. Then I realized that the family started having a lot of meaning for us in our life. Then I started putting that sort of guidance and my share of experience, what I learned from thousands of people, how we can improve in our relationship. Then I feel like when you cross over certain limits, certain age bracket in your life, your spiritual dimension started opening up, and then you started seeing the world from a different angle. And that is the spiritual journey and the enlightenment which I got, and something which I'm still been discovering is being a part of it. So it covers the whole, encompass the whole aspects of our life, and that's why it has the chapters which are 24 chapters as well into it. So interesting part is there is a lot of things which we can relate with, and I would say I'm so happy and pleased that this message which has been vibrating on these pages of this book, inshallah it is going to stay long, and this is something bit of legacy which is going to work onto it. So now coming back onto the most important part, what is the definition of success for me? Because this is very important aspect, because whosoever is my listeners and whosoever the people who always have this $1,000,000 question, and they ask me this question, Kamran, what does this success means to you? Important question. What does the success means to you? And when you move around, the success is a relative term. Success is a relative term, because in that instance, if you ask a builder what is a success for you, the builder has a different definition. When you ask to a university professor, it has a different definition of success. When you ask for the certain investor, it has a different definition. So what is the universal definition which it encompasses the success definition?
Yes.
My dear friends, I'm going to open up that secret for you.
Yeah.
And that secret, I got it from the Holy Book. I remember once I was being in search of a definition of success. I feel like that there are some of the people who are being so much extraordinarily successful in one dimension, but they are being totally disaster in the other domain of their life. So what exactly is the success is all about? Then once I was reading, I referred in my book that opened up that meaning of success for myself. That is a Surah Namal. In Holy Book Quran, the chapter Surah Namal, there was an incident about a small ant, that when the Prophet Solomon was been walking through that alley, there was an ants over there, and one of the ant, once she have seen that Prophet Solomon is coming along with his companions, so that ant talked to his fellow beings and said, go inside your home so that you are not being crushed under their feet. And that was the duration of that story.
Yes.
And when I read through it, honestly speaking, I've not been able to capture the real essence of it. Was this event was so crucial to mention it into a Quran, but there might be certain reasoning why it has been mentioned over there. Then I got the meaning out of it. And the meaning I got that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has liked the thinking of that small ant, because she had a feeling of a well-being for his or her own fellow beings, that they should not feel crushed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has narrated that incident into a Quran. And that incident, once it has been narrated, mean that thousands and millions and billions of the believers, they are reading that incident, and they are getting that introduction about it. My dear friends, I got the true essence of success. I realize if this was a small ant and she was been thinking about his fellow beings, what about the thinking of a human being who started thinking about to become a beneficial for all of his other human beings? What do you think about that? What would be the value the creator is going to assign for that person who is going to think about the benefit of all the other human beings? I got the gold. And that gold I got, and I decided about myself. I said, Kamran, your real passion is to share something of value. Before that, you have been focusing on yourself. Before that, you have been doing that sort of stuff just to make your stature high, just so that the people should appreciate you. You have certain credentials on which you can mint some of the money, and you have been having some of the more financial success, etc. Now, this is the real message. From day onward, you should focus on delivering value to the people, just with the purpose that you have to become beneficial for all. If you become beneficial for all, your voice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take to the places around the world like the way it has took the voice of a small ant across the world. My dear friends, today that event is the live example of it. I'm sitting in some part in Abu Dhabi. I've been talking to hundreds of my students and colleagues who are being spread across the world, who are being listening to me. I do not know who you are. I'm not aware of it. Might be you're not aware of myself. But who is taking that message to you?
Yeah.
There's no commonality right now between us. So what I would say, since the time I have decided in every role I have, whether I had a role as a professional trainer or as a coach, whether I had a role as a father and a son, whether I had a role as a colleague, whether as a role as a countryman, if I'm going to focus on delivering value of being beneficial for all of the community and all the people around, I got my success. And this is a live example, alhamdulillah, that this message has been vibrating in form of books. This message is vibrating in forms of my columns. This message is vibrating in forms of my lot of sessions. So first thing, I would ask you to write it down. If you want to become a super duper successful in life, whatsoever the role you have to be given, whatsoever the role you are going to take, whether you become an employee in a company, whether you become an entrepreneur in a company, whether you become a professor in a university, whatsoever the role you have, take the thing, make it highlight bold. I'm going to become beneficial for everyone who will come across that. So if you are an entrepreneur, you will become the best entrepreneur, because who is on the receiving end? Your customers will be on the receiving end. You've been there to deliver the highest value to them. You will become the best of the best businessmen over there, because you are delivering the highest value. If you are working as an employee, what you are going to focus. You say, if I've been working as an employee inside the company, I have to deliver the best of my services to that employer. You will become the best employee in a company. Now, if you are being working as a family person, and rather than focusing on the thing what you can get from the people in return, you focus on yourself and delivering the best out of yourself, who you become? You will become beneficial. And when you become beneficial, you will become best in your role. So, my dear friends, if you want to get a universal meaning of success, that meaning which become everlasting for you, then don't self-centered. Focus on yourself generating value to the people. giving value to the people, and you will be facilitated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every endeavor you will take, because you are being here for a purpose. And that is the most important thing which we have to learn from self. Our success is not getting something, because there are two category of the people. There are two mindset in which you can live your life. One is which is in abundance, which is called an ordinary mindset. There are hundreds of people, thousands of people who live like an ordinary people. Why? Because they are focused on themselves. They say, what I'm going to get out of this in relation, what I'm going to get out of my employer, what I'm going to get out of my customer. But if you want to become an extraordinary, the message of greatness is not what you get. The message of greatness is what you contribute. The message of greatness is what you leave as a legacy. The message of contribution is what exactly the positivity you generate out of that process. So that is very important aspect. What is more important now? What is the solution for 24 gold coin? Where it is going to help us? So I would invite you, if you have pen and pencil, let's do some exercise with me. And if you can take it, I'm going to show, we are going to draw a circle of life. So I have this paper. I hope you can see me that.
Yes, sir.
So
It is visible.
now, yes, now you can draw yourself. Put your pen and pencil. You might
Yes,
have seen there are two circles. One is in the center. This
yes.
center is you, yourself, and then the outer circle, and then you can draw almost 6 spikes over there.
Okay,
And each spike should be divided into 5. So, for example, what are these 6 spikes are? You can write down the titles on that. The spikes, you can write it down. One is called your personal life. One is your spiritual life. One is your professional life. One is your social life. One is your financial life. So I repeat once again, you are going to draw this bigger circle. You have the smaller circle, which is you will write down your name over there. Then these are the 6 spikes, and each spikes you have to divide from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 is minimum, 5 is maximum. So
yes,
you are going to draw this circle of life and give it a title, circle of life. And what are the titles across? One is your personal life, second is your professional life, third is your family life, fourth is your social life, fifth is your spiritual life, and sixth is your financial life. So you can just draw across that.
yes, yes.
I hope you are being ready right now.
Yeah,
Okay?
just I
Now,
wrote it.
once you yes, very
Yes,
good, very good.
yes. G.
Yes, now what you can do now, take first of all, this is your self evaluation, which we are going to do. We are
Okay,
going to have our own circle of life.
wonderful.
So be as truthful as you could, because you are not going to show this paper to me or to someone else, and just evaluate yourself in
Wonderful.
your personal life, your personal self. When we talk about your personal, it means your physical health, your mental health, and you yourself. If 5 is the ideal one, so for example, in every way you would like to imagine yourself what it would be if this has been in every way my physical and my mental health has been at the peak of everything. If it is 5 and 1 is minimum and 5 is maximum, what where you stand right now? What is your reality? Where you are right now? Are you on 1? Are you on 2? Are you on 3? Are you on 4? Or are you on 5? So just mark yourself where you are right now. So, for example, I mark myself somewhere over here. All right, I'm being on 3, for example. So just I'm been putting over there. So you can put yourself where you are right now. Similarly, let's move on to the next one, which is called your professional life. So, what is your ideal concept about your professional life? If 5 is maximum, 1 is minimum, where you are right now in terms of your professional life, where you are right now. If you are a student, of course, you are being going through that successive stages. Of course, one day, inshallah, once you will complete your education, you will start yourself. Instead of professional, you can say slash my student life, for example. Right now
Yes,
you are being as a student, so you just evaluate yourself where you are being right now, so you can put yourself on some ranking over there as well, on the scale of 1 to 5. 5 is maximum, 1 is minimum. Now come on to your family life. Come on to your family life. If 1 is minimum, 5 is maximum, where you are right now in terms of relationship with your family, with your parents, with your husband, wife, kids, whatsoever you have been in, where you are right now, just evaluate yourself and put a mark over there as well. Then come on to your social relationship. relationship with your relatives, with your friends, with your colleagues, office colleagues, etc. So where is your social life right now? If you had an ideal concept about how my life should look like, where you are right now, so you can just put yourself somewhere in the domain over there as well. Then you look into your financial life. What is the ideal concept of your financial self? What you would like to earn, how much money you would like to have, and according to that concept, where you are right now. Right now, what is your reality? So you can identify that what is your spiritual life. You mark yourself somewhere over there. Similarly, your financial life, you can put some of the mark over there as well. Now, if you see on this circle, I have put the dotted across according to my evaluation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to join these dots together. Now, join these dots together and join it one dot to the other, you will get a little bit of some circle like shape over here. All right, once you get a circle like shape, then you can make this area which you have got in a shaded area as well. You see, I just got it something like this over here.
Right.
So this become internal, this become my circle of my life, having this domain across that. Now, just put that circle in front of you and ask a question to yourself. If I'm having my car and the wheels of my car are all according to this circle, which are being fitted in my car, according to that circle,
Yes.
how your journey would look like. So, for example, if you feel like that there are certain area, this circle is not in a perfect shape, and there is certain domain which has been extended somewhere, and some domain it is not in perfect. Imagine if you are having these four wheels in your car, how your journey would look like. You are going to get a lot of bumpy rides, and you are not being feeling comfortable onto that. Metaphorically, these wheels are in our life car. It's not a physical car, but our life is on a journey, and actually, we are fitted with these four wheels. And we are getting a bumpy rides, we are getting a challenges because of that our wheel is not in perfect harmony.
Oh,
So, what is more important for you? If you look into that circle of life, the first thing you can identify out of this thing, which of the area I have to bring in closer proportion so that it can make my wheel in a perfect harmony. That is your first call. That is the most important aspect where it needs your attention. So, for
yes.
example, you might be looking right now, you might be too good in your professional life, you might be too good in your finances, but your personal life, your family life is pathetic, and that is giving you a lot of issues and a lot of stress and a lot of depression. So that wheel of life give us an immediate indication where my focus should go. Where should I been look into that? Because even if I'm being ranking three across all of my domain, I'm still have a smooth journey. Maybe I'm not being in a perfect in all the dimension, but if my wheel is bit circular, I can have a smooth journey across. So, my dear friends,
Wonderful, Sir Kamran. It is a best explanation anyone can put in the words. I can see my circle, and I was just calculating what you are saying, that how can you improve the quarter which is not proper to the whole of the circle. What a wonderful way you explained. I really learned this thing new, and believe me, I have seen a lot of people in the world, international people, and so on. But the way you articulated it, it's so wonderful. I have seen the circle of life, the different things to improve yourself, but that is the best version I have ever seen. Thank you very much for sharing this new thing with us as well. Keep on enlightening us, Ji.
Jazakallah. So now, for example, if you feel like that this circle is not in a perfect harmony and
Yes,
there are certain challenges, then the solution where you can get and what I try to bring that solution is this book.
wonderful.
This one, it is a 24 gold coin.
Yeah.
And what through Dr. Heather, inshallah, the PDF version of this book, I will send it to you, Dr. Heather,
Yes.
a detailed description of all the answers and the possibility which can bring our life in a perfect harmony.
Yeah.
That is the gist of that. That is
That
the
is the
reason why.
Sir, that is the best gift you can go give to the world. That is the best gift available on internet, on different platform. It's a really masterpiece for everyone. If somebody could
Exactly.
look into it, they can take a lot of guidance from it in a one go. Yes.
Jazakallah, sir. And this book is meant for your reading and meant for free sharing. I do not claim any copyright act on that. If you would like to, I mean, to say print it, you would like to share the content of it, you would like to share it wherever you want. It is meant to be sharing for free sharing. From my side, all
That is
authorization to you.
also the generosity of you, and that is also kind of charity you are doing it, because you are giving your this intellectual work for free to the people, and people are getting a lot of knowledge out of it. Thank you once again. And whatever you refer to it, that you are in giving mood, not receiving mood, but you are on that outstanding level. Thank you very much, and I can't wait to listen to you further. Please continue.
Alhamdulillah, one of the philosophy that I learned in life, and that has been the mechanism. There is a law of rebound which is operative in this world,
Yes.
which Creator has given that law of rebound. Law
Oh.
of rebound say that whatsoever you share,
Yes.
it comes back to you in a multiple proportion.
Yeah.
It
Very
comes
true.
back to you in multiple proportion. I remember, because this is an interesting scenario. I remember
Yes.
when I was being in my growing years, and there was another thing, because one thing that I learned, my mother, she has given me the love of the books. One of the things of generosity, alhamdulillah, I got it from my father.
Oh,
And I
wow.
remember when I was being in my grade 8, grade 9, grade 10 student,
Mhm.
I I've observed one of the pattern that my father, whenever he has to give any charity to anyone, my father always given that money in my hand and
Oh,
asked me, just go and hand it over that money to that needy and someone else. And I was not being able to understand why he's every time he's giving me that money to that. But basically, I learned that he as was giving me that template of giving, that
oh,
whenever you had a money in your hand, you must have to contribute. Not only this, one day he asked me when I was being in grade 8 or grade 9, he said, Kamran, how much pocket money you are getting? I said, I'm been getting that amount, or it was a mega money at that time. And he
yes.
said, is it possible that you started sharing at least 10% of it to the needy?
Oh,
And when he asked me that, and I was a little bit shocked, I said, but dad, it is such a mega amount of money.
yeah.
Even 10% of it is not going to help anything to
Yes.
anyone. So why should I share out of that?
Yeah.
Then he given me the life philosophy. He said,
Yes.
Kamran, always remember, it is not the quantity which you are being giving. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look into that how much you are giving.
Yes.
It is look into that how much you are being given and from which you are being giving. So,
Oh,
for example, if you are having, let's say, 10 rupees in your pocket, and you are just giving a charity of 1 rupee out of that, it is more valuable than the charity if someone being given with hundreds and thousands of dollars and is being given even a few hundreds out of it.
yeah.
The quantity does not matter, the philosophy matter, because if you will have this ability and philosophy of giving out of that smaller amount for you,
Yes.
inshallah, when the time will come and you had a bigger amount, bigger finances with you, you
Yes.
still have that philosophy that you can share. That philosophy is more important rather than
Yes.
the quantity. I would say that this element of sharing, this
Yeah.
element of generosity has actually creep into my life philosophy. So whether I'm been writing anything, whether I'm communicating anything, that sense of giving is actually been so much predominant. So I would say, if you would like to write it down, the second thing to become a global success in every domain you have, attain a mindset of giving, attain a
Yeah.
mindset of giving. First is to become beneficial. Second,
Yes.
whatsoever you have been having, just be generous in giving. So
Yes.
when you will give with generosity your knowledge, you will be multiplied with your knowledge. When
Yeah.
you will give with the generosity of your finances to the needy, you will be multiplied with that sort of finances in your life. So that is the important aspect which has been there. Now I will focus on the professional life, because this is very important subject. many
Yes.
of many of our colleagues around the world and the students especially might be keen to know what is the way in which we can get our breakthrough,
Yeah.
what is the way in which we can become the heightened professional,
Mm.
what is the way in which the world started giving us the money we want, They started acknowledging us. We started being recognized across in our area of interest. So interesting part, my dear friends, please remember, in our professional life, we are being paid according to the value which we bring on the marketplace.
Yeah.
We are not being paid according to the time we spent. So, for example, if you will, inshallah, started doing a job, or if you are already doing a job, the number of hours in the job does not matter. So, for example, if you say I'm been giving 8 hours of work, and now I'm going to give 16 hours, and if you will walk back to your employer and ask the question, boss, can you give me a double of the salary? Because instead of 8 hours, now I'm spending a 16 hours. The boss will first ask you a question. First, tell me what exactly you have been bringing during those 16 hours. Because it is not the quantity of time, it is the quality of time that matters the most, how much value you bring during that time. And that is the reason, my dear friends, please understand this pattern, understand this, what you can say, the formula in which the business market operate. For example, in a company, you had a different roles right now. You have some person who is a chief executive officer, you have some of the director of operations, you have the managers, you have the supervisors, you have the engineers, and down the line, there is a person who is a T-boy inside the same company. Now, if you look into their timesheet, you will see more or less legally they are being required, all of them, to spend 40 hours per week at the workplace.
Right, right.
Now, my question to you, when all of them they are spending the 40 hours at the workplace, why their pay rate is different? Why they are being paid differently? So again, the answer is it is not the quantity of time, it is the quality, it is the value you bring during those hours.
Yeah.
Now, important question for you. We are a student. You can ask me this question. You say, we are student. How can we be able to deliver that value? So I will highlight some of the things which is very important for you to understand.
Yes.
You have to get an understanding of two things. Number one, you have to understand the competency framework model.
Wonderful.
Competency framework model. Remember, competencies, for example, have four levels. Four levels. One is called awareness. Second is called knowledge. Third is called your skill. Fourth is called your mastery. So awareness, knowledge, skill, and mastery. These are the four levels in a competency. So, for example, if you want to work as a business manager, what is the maximum you can get when you are being in the school and college and universities? You are being able to get the awareness level about the concepts and about the theories, and you can also apply a little bit, and you can see some of its, I mean to say, observe its application in some of the companies and some of the organization. You can get the knowledge level as well. So awareness and knowledge. But if you will, while you are doing your studentship, you also get an opportunity to do some sort of internship in the different organization. What you can do under supervision, you also get certain opportunity to apply some of those concepts which you have learned. So a little bit upon, you will touch upon the skill part in it. But the real thing, it happened that when you are being awareness and knowledge level, your foundations are strong, and the job market, you get an opportunity to started applying those concepts, you become skillful into it. And when over an extended period of time, when you've been continuously applying that skill, you get a mastery in it.
Yes.
My dear friends, the job market does not pay you for your awareness only. Job market does not pay you for your knowledge only. Because awareness and knowledge has already been available in abundance.
Yes.
But the job market pay you that whatsoever you know, how much you are being able to apply it. Please remember that. Because if you had the ability to apply your knowledge, you become skillful.
Yes.
Job market is going to pay you when you are skillful in certain area,
Yes.
and they will compensate you in the best possible way when you are having a mastery in that area.
Yeah.
So skill and mastery come with that regular practice and exercise of those ideas, those concepts which you have learned. So one of
Wonderful.
the important, so
Wonderful,
one of
Sir
the
Kamran. You have put it in a very wonderful way for the students. How can they improve the this competency framework? I'm writing even everything so that I can include in my lecture next time, so that people can get the recall of it, and it will be available on YouTube, this channel. What a wonderful piece of thing you are bringing up. Apart from the other things you have mentioned in the book and your experiences, I would appreciate and I would say that your father was a great man with a great vision, that he was inculcating different things in you, and that's why you have such dynamic personality. Wonderful. Please carry on.
Thank you very much for the compliment, Dr. Heather. And there's a best saying. It said, it is not important what you leave for your kids as an inheritance.
Oh,
It is not important what you leave for your kids as an
inheritance.
inheritance. It is more important what you leave within them as values.
Oh, wonderful.
More important what you leave within them as values.
Yeah.
Being as a parents,
Wow.
being as a teachers,
Yes.
this is our role
Yeah.
to inculcate that values in our students and into our kids.
Yes.
Because if they have this world class values,
Yes.
the values of integrity, the value of honesty, the
Yeah.
value of giving, the value of self sacrifice, the value of respect,
Yeah.
I can tell you in a plain words, no one can stop their success. No one can stop them to become famous. No
Yes.
one can stop them to achieve whatsoever they want to achieve in their life.
Yeah.
So that is the most important aspect which we have highlighted.
Yeah.
Now, when we come back onto this four format again,
Yes.
what I would say to my dear students, once you are being there as a student, you had an opportunity that you are going to spend a lot of time when you are being going through your classes.
Mm.
Please do not waste your time. Please spend a real efforts to understand the basics and the fundamentals of your subjects, the subject which you have been reading, the subject which is not a question of just getting some 4 GPA at the end,
Yes.
because the world don't care about that.
True.
The most important thing, you must have to be over and above on certain threshold value. I'm not against that. If, for example, the threshold value where the good universities accept you for the higher education, maybe 3.2, 3.3, I don't know.
Yes.
But if there are certain threshold value, you should be stay over to it. But important aspect is you should not lock yourself only with this concept. The most important thing you have to learn is to understand your foundation. Build your foundation with awareness and knowledge. Make your mind as a researcher mind, because we are not being paid according to the time, we are being paid according to the value. I remember one of the thing what is I was doing in one of the training, and I entered into one of the company, and while I was been talking to the CEO of the company, there was a big statement he was written at his back. And while I was been sitting on the other side of the table, I can see that statement, and the statement was very interesting. It was been written that you are being hired to keep the problems away from my table.
Oh, so wonderful. Really?
And Dr. Heather, it was so interesting. I
Yes.
asked this question to the CEO. I said, why you have written that thing over there? He said, it is a direct message to all of my employees that whenever they come and discuss with any of the issues with me, I give them a reminder that if you just simply bring the issues on my table, so already I've been familiar with that. You are being hired with the
Wow.
solution mindset. You have to bring the solutions to my table, so that this is you are being paid for. My dear student, this is the whole philosophy in which the business world operate. Are you a solution provider?
Wonderful.
Are you a solution provider? Are you a problem solver? The bigger problem solver you become, the bigger compensation you started getting in your life. This is as simple as that. But
Yes.
during your education, if you will not work on the fundamentals, if you will not work on the foundations, if you will not try to capture the core concept,
Yes.
while you are being having an opportunity to exercise those concepts, you
Yes.
will struggle, because if there is a gap over here, there is a lot of hassle you have to do in understanding that skill part over there. But if your foundation is strong, you can cover that ground very easily, and you can apply the concept, and then you can actually be able to generate the value. And the more skillful you are, the more time you spend onto that, the mastery you got, you will get the highest of highest. Sometime, Dr. Heather, people
Sir.
ask me a question,
Sir.
in which profession having a bigger scope? in
Yeah, that
which
is very common question, Sir Kamran. And this is what the student referred to me as well, that please ask him that what is the scope in Middle East, particularly Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that please ask him about that thing. Yeah, wonderful. Please clarify that thing.
I'm sorry, I might not have a very good news for some of my colleagues and the students over there.
Yes.
The answer is there is no scope in any field.
Yeah.
There is no scope.
Yes.
There is scope within
You.
yourself.
Yeah.
The scope is within yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you are working in your area of interest,
Yeah.
and if you are being there to deliver the best out of yourself,
Yeah.
it is the height of the highest scope which you carry within yourself. It's
That's
not the field.
wonderful. Yes, that's
It's not
what
the
Sir
field.
Kamran I used to tell my students, that scope is not outside, it is inside. If you are a best performer, out of 10, out of 1000 candidate, you will be selected if you have the scope inside. Yes, please.
And that scope always come. Be flexible in that part, because there is one concept which is called, what is one is your area of interest.
Yes.
Second is it is area of your wish.
Yeah.
The important aspect is, whenever we compare what is my area of interest is that such an area, such a work in which you are not being even forced to do it, you love to do it.
Yeah.
Area of interest is where once you are being doing that job, you are doing or you are studying some of the subject, you feel like the time flies.
True.
You didn't realize you come out of the time and space zone. Area of interest is where you feel like that you have some sort of a natural inclination, you get those concepts more easily as compared to any other person.
True.
So my dear friends, the most important part to become successful is a self discovery, because my belief is education does not mean a lifetime imprisonment. Education does not mean that.
Yeah.
Education is an effort to build up your character, to build
Yes.
up your personality,
Yes.
and you had the whole world open up for you.
Yes.
You, if you get some of your graduation and master degree in some of the subject, still the whole world is open for you.
Very
You
true.
have to evaluate yourself. What are your gifted abilities, and what is the best way? I recommend to all the students.
Yes.
I would say right now in the age of information,
Yes.
there are a lot of psychological tools are available online. You can pay a meager amount of money and you can do your self evaluation about your type of personality.
Oh.
What are your preferences? What are your strengths? So, if you will get some knowledge about yourself, or if you can ask your teachers, or you ask your family, or some of the people who knows you, get that self awareness. What are your strengths? What are the things which are being you can get an appreciation from the people around you? This is your area of interest. Sometimes we blindly follow area of wish,
True.
and that area of wish, especially in our society, if my father, my mother, some of my relatives, they want me to become an engineer, I become an engineer. I become an engineer because it has a social standing. I
Yes.
became an engineer because it was being recognized very
Yes.
well across the board. People
Wow.
appreciate that. I know some of the engineers who have been earning a lot of money.
Yeah.
And because of that social pressure, sometimes we go into our area of wish. You
Yes.
have to discover your area of interest. And education does not mean the lifetime imprisonment. If you will able to identify your area of core strength, explore yourself, again coming back, education build up your character,
True.
and then you can add on further into the life. Because whenever people ask me to serve some of the value, they don't ask me what education I have, they look towards me and they see what value you can bring on the table. So become a person of substance, become a person of value. Another important thing what I'm going to tell you,
So,
which is very important in the professional domain, to all of my students. Sometimes people ask me, once I was being conducting the session, and that was a question they asked me, what is the one thing, if you have to do at the age of 22 or 24, when you are being actually the student, what you are going to do, where you will be focused? I told them, I said, the one thing which I will be focused, irrespective of my knowledge, irrespective of my type of study, I must get an awareness about the financials. I'm going to learn some of the fundamentals about the finances so that I'm being able to know when I'm going to earn money, because earning money is one thing,
Yes.
managing that money is another aspect. I will go and I will learn, I will enhance my financial literacy about that. I
Yeah.
remember one of the interesting thing, Dr. Heather, that was a very interesting story I would like to relate.
Sure, sure, sure.
Uh, in 1980s, late 1980s, I was an engineering student, and I have the same dream as many of those students at that time, which I believe the dream has not changed. People are still looking for that. That once
Very
you will
well.
complete your education, you will get your job, you will get your job, you will get your marriage, and then a lot of stuff that will go ahead that way. So I
Yes.
was being the second year or third year student, and
Okay.
one of my school friend,
Yes.
he was a dropout. Actually, he was not been able to complete his grade 11, and he went to United States at that time in the early 1980s, and we met after 3 4 years. And I was being we have been together, and I remember I asked a question to him. I said to my friend, I said, what is your plan, what you are doing over there? He said, currently I'm doing a job, but I'm intent to do a business
Okay.
in which, if I'm being at my sleep, I can earn a lot of money. I thought it's a joke, and I just make a fun of him. I said, "How come it is possible that you are being, because being as an engineer, being as a doctor, being as a professional, you have to spend some time at the job only, then you can earn." He said, "No,
Yes.
Kamran. My philosophy is that I'm been looking for some business in which while I'm being at the sleep, I can earn." Then I asked him, I said, "Can you explain something?
Yeah.
How can you earn that thing?" He said, "I've been focusing on getting a business of some of the ATM machines. And once I'm going to get the contract, so wherever I'm going to install that machines, every time that transaction is going to be happen onto that, certain fraction of money will go into my account. And that is the way I'm going to do it." And I think it was a too big concept for me at that time. I still make him a fun of him and things like that.
Sure.
Dr. Heather, just last year, 2 years back, actually, I got a chance to go to United States, and this time I actually went specially to meet him. He's in Florida,
Okay.
and we
Wonderful.
met after a number of years, and I was so happy and delighted to see
Yeah.
that he was one of the biggest business tycoon in Florida. And
Oh.
Alhamdulillah, I can see him, the businesses he was doing and things like that. And that time I recalled him, I told him that this was the thing which I learned from you at that time. And he endorsed, he said, "Kamran, that was the real philosophy which I worked with, and that has given me that sort of a fortune." So, my dear friends, whosoever is listening to me, whenever you are being there, please enhance your financial literacy, because being as an employee, we only focus on trading our time to get some money,
Yes.
and that does not give us a financial independence. The financial independence always come when we've been able to capture the other people time and other people resources and to pull in, and then our fortune started happening. I'm
Yes.
going to recommend one of the book to all of you,
So.
and this is as a must read, because if this is in my hand and if I have this power, I make it as a must read, as a part of the curriculum for all the universities. I
Yeah.
would recommend that the book title is Rich Dad
And
Poor
poor dad.
Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Poor dad.
Please go through it. Please understand what is the employee quadrant.
Yeah.
Please understand what is the skill quadrant. Please understand what is the business quadrant. Please understand what is the investment quadrant. Because one of the things what that book teach you in your life, you must have to generate assets, not the liabilities.
Wonderful.
And once you understand the concept, when you understand the concept, similarly, when we talk about, you remember when I talk about 24 gold coin, what I said? I
Yes.
said that 24 hours in a day is
Exactly.
an opportunity for us. Either you can generate assets by
Yeah.
investing those 24 gold coin, or you can take a lot of liabilities within you.
Very well.
You can relate it very well. So, my dear friends, 24 gold coins, understand the financial literacy,
Yeah.
try to get some of the values within yourself, and try to go ahead with that. One
Wonderful.
of the things I would like to highlight on the relationship part as well,
Sure.
because inshallah, very soon this is very important for you. Once you have been in the relationship, sometimes we understood and we assumed that relationship is nothing to learn about it, and we can learn automatically. But my
Yes.
dear friend, sometimes it is too late for you to learn. You must have to, everything is a learnable skill. You must have to learn how to build and nourish your relationship.
Yes.
And one of the important aspects I remember that there are, I would not say much of the detail, but if you remember three things only in relationship,
Wonderful.
in every type of relation, you had a world-class relation. Whether you are an employer and employee, whether you are husband and wife, whether you are brother and sister, whether you are teacher and student, the three things only can make your relation world class. What is the first thing? In every type of relation, built upon mutual self respect.
Yes.
If you respect your relations, if you give respect to your relations, if you actually been caring about them, mutual self respect.
Yes.
Number two, element of trust,
Yeah.
mutual trust. You trust your relationship unless and until they prove otherwise, but you start with the trust.
True.
So one thing is mutual self-respect, second is the trust, the third thing is a bigger thing, my dear friends. But if you will do this third thing, if you will do this third thing, you will be start getting like a PhD in relationship. You know
Oh,
what is that?
sir.
That is an element of forgiveness. We
Oh,
are being a human beings and we are not perfect. So
yes.
if we are not perfect, why should we expect I'm going to say,
Others.
of being perfect from the other people? So if you are having respect, if you are having trust, and if you have a bigger margin of forgiveness, all relationship become world class. My dear friends, I'm so much thankful to my family because I could not achieve any fraction of the things, Alhamdulillah, what I've achieved so far without a back end support of my family.
Very
And that
true.
is all depend on to that.
Yes.
You must build a nourishing relationship. And these are the three things I have exercised in my life. These are the three things. When you start your journey, when you are having your married life with your kids, with your family, with your friends, three things, remember my words, you will
Yes.
get that. I'm going to share one story why this is very important, and especially that is a story of and why we have to manage our anger as well. That is a story of a boy who was
Okay.
having a lot of anger,
Uh-huh.
and that boy went to his father and asked him, "Father, I'm having a big issue because I'm not being able to control my temperament, and every time I feel like that any incident, anything." I started losing my temperament, that become so much angry and things like that. Father, please help me. How can I overcome my anger? The father said, "All right, son, come tomorrow and I have something for you." The tomorrow when the son came, the father given him one of the board and with the nails and one of the hammer. And he said, "Son, your solution is this." And he said, "What is that, father?" He said, "Now whenever you feel angry, take the hammer, take the nail, and just forcefully pass it through to that board." And
Okay.
he said, "Is it so simple? Is it going to help me? I'm going to control my anger with this." He said, "For sure." So from that day onward, the boy, whenever he was having an angry mode, he took the nail, he took the hammer, he just parts it through. After some time, he came back to his father and said, "Father, your formula worked. I do not feel like I have much of the anger now. Now I've been able to control my anger."
Oh, wonderful.
Father said, "Is it truth? Truth, son?" He said, "Yes, father." He said, "Okay, bring back that board." So when he bring back that board, so it was all full of nails on it.
Oh,
Now the father asked him, he said, "Son, is it possible if you can pull these nails out of it?" He said, "Yes, for sure, father." He took one by one all the nails out of it. When he took all the nails out of it, there was a lot of holes on that board. The father asked him, he said, "Son, is it the same board I have given you or it looks different?"
mm,
The son said, "Father, it is a different board now because it has a lot of holes into it."
yeah.
Then father replied, he said, "Son, remember a lesson of life.
Yes.
This board is like a metaphor of our heart as a human being. This tongue is like a hammer, and the words come out of it is like a nail.
Oh,
Whenever we are being in the state of rage and anger, sometimes we did not realize, and that words came like nails, and it pierced through to the heart of the people, like these nails did. But
wonderful.
because you are a good human being, if you realize that I have made a mistake, and you go to the people and say, I've been apologetic, asking them, I'm sorry I made a mistake. The maximum you can do, you can take the nail out of their heart,
Yes.
but the scar remains the same. So,
Very
my dear friends, what
What
is
a
the morale of this?
wonderful story you have narrated, Sir Kamran. It's very impactful story. I just try to realize how much impactful it is while sharing with the students. Even sometimes students and other colleagues, even as a teacher, sometimes we scold the students. So what a impactful message you have given, that you should use your words very carefully and wisely, because it is going to pain someone. Yes, please continue. Wonderful.
That is a message very important because Dr. Heather, I've highlighted that our students, our colleagues, the most important aspect is to give them the universal values.
Yeah.
And that value, which is very vital in relationship, that value, which is very important to become a person of substance, it is very important to control our tongue. Because with this tongue, either we can make some life. For example, when my first mentor asked me, you had an amazing ability to be a good trainer. And that words for me like a totally strange words, but he keep on encouraging me, keep on inculcating that self-belief into myself. And I remember that by virtue of his consistent encouragement, I don't know whether I was being having that or not,
Yeah.
but he has given me that belief. I started exercising it, I started doing that training, and Alhamdulillah, by virtue of time, someone I'm going to deliver onto that part. When I was leaving my first company, Dr. Heather, I
Yeah.
went back to the manager and I said, Sir, you have done an amazing thing in my life. You have changed my life altogether.
Yes.
Please tell me what is the one thing I can do for you. He said, Nothing, Kamran, nothing. I have done nothing. I've just shown you the way. You already have the ability. I
Yes.
said, Sir, please tell me, how can I compensate you? I would like to repay you something. He said, Okay, then one thing, Kamran, remember, if you can promise. I said, Sir, this is my promise. He said, Okay, now if you grow in your career at certain instance where you feel like, Kamran, you have something of value and you have some of the encouragement which you can pass it on to the people, and you have some sort of thing where you can show people with certain hope
Yes.
and with certain encouragement, and if you will started doing it, I will feel like I'm compensated. After
Wonderful.
listening to him, I
Yeah.
stood up on my chair, I shook hand with him and said, Sir, it is a done deal. And I was not aware, Dr. Heather,
Yes.
even today, after 30 years of my professional career,
Yeah.
this is the same commitment I'm honoring.
Wonderful.
Because these are some of the words,
Yes.
these are some of the love and care
Yeah.
from some of the person. So,
Yes.
my dear friends,
Yes.
opportunity is in yourself.
Yeah.
Opportunity scope is in yourself.
Exactly.
If you want to become a best manager, if
Yes.
you want to become a best entrepreneur, if you become a best husband, if you become a best wife, if you want to become a best in everything, first try to become a best human being.
Yes. Wonderful.
When you're
Very.
having a values to become a best human being, I can tell you in every role you have, you will be super duper into that because these values control our behaviors.
True.
If you had a true values within yourself, your behaviors are controlled.
Yes.
An important aspect, my dear friends, we are the best creation of our creator,
Very true.
best creation. And this supercomputer which our brain, the creator has given, it has a tremendous power. And we must have to protect the content which we are taking inside of our head.
Yes.
If I quote you an example, that my laptop I'm been talking right now, and you bring some of the USB, or I give you some of the USB, and I said, because you trust me, I'm a good friend of yours. This USB is a virus contaminated. Please plug it into your computer. I can bet on that, irrespective of the amount of respect you care, you are not going to take a risk because it is virus contaminated.
Yeah.
How much is the cost of your laptop? Nothing much.
Yes.
But why? Why, my dear friends? Why? We allow every person in this world. We allow every mindless programs in the media.
Yes.
We allow every negative news.
Yeah.
we allow every negative personality to plug any time to our mainframe and to download whatsoever they want into our head. That is the dilemma, my dear friends. That is the issue. So you must have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to become successful in life, go into the circle of people who are more successful than you. If you want to become a best marketer, go into the circle of the people who are best marketer than you. If you want to become a best teacher, go into the circle of the people who are best teacher. Go into the circle of the people. If you want to become a best human being, go into the circle of the people who are better human being than you, because only then your mental standards are challenged and you started getting a different realization, and there where the start happen. But if you will stay with the people, if you will stay in the environment, irrespective whatsoever the virus they have been getting in your head, that is the roadblock for you, my dear friends. So if you want to take away the thing which is very important, you must have to have a source of, you must ensure yourself, my dear friends. You know, today's challenge is big,
Yeah.
very big,
Very.
because the social media on our palm
Yes.
is a big risk. Either it can make us or it can destroy us totally.
Very right.
If you want to become successful and happy, you must have to establish certain ground rules for yourself.
Yes.
But if you will not be conscious, this has a power to destroy you completely, because it has a power to induce all sort of negative viruses, all sort of destructive material in your head, that you will feel like you are not going to get anything. It is like the same, my laptop, my computer cannot work if it has been contaminated with a virus. How can my brain work if it is contaminated with a virus? I don't want to go into the detail of it,
Yes.
my dear friends. I don't want to highlight what is available on the net, but I'm going to advise you with the sincerity of my heart,
Yeah.
with the core of my heart. Please protect yourself.
Yes.
Please, this is the one opportunity we are having in life. If you are occupy yourself with the positive things, if you occupy yourself with the constructive stuff, you don't have a time to go into any other things which is not adding any value into you. So become conscious about it. If you want to be successful, there is a lot of good stuff around.
Yeah.
Focus yourself, force yourself into it.
Yes.
But run away from the people who are contaminated like a negative virus. Run away from them. Don't go into the company in which there is a chance, there is a fraction of chance that you get contaminated, my dear friends.
Yeah.
So, important aspect for us, safeguard your relationship, safeguard your mind content, which is very important, and take up that responsibility. Events, my dear friends, I understand we are being in Pakistan or across the world, there are so much things happening on the outside climate, there are so much negativity and uncertainty has been outside.
Right.
But my dear friends, please remember, events do not have any meaning except the meaning we assign to it.
Wonderful.
What does the COVID mean to you?
Yes.
What does the economy mean to you? Don't focus on the things which you cannot control and influence.
Yeah.
Focus on the things which you can control and you can influence. This is $100 million advice I'm giving you.
Wonderful.
Focus on the things you can control and influence. What are the things you can control? You can focus on your education. You can control on collecting onto the circle of the people who are positive. You can focus on your self-development. You can search for the abilities and the certification and the self-development, so that you become a person of value and person of attraction for the marketplace.
Yeah.
And you work on yourself with the genuine values, so that when you walk around, what is a beautiful thing, what has been said, somebody, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It said, become a person of substance. Become a person of substance, that when you open up your mouth, the world know who you are. The world know who you are.
Oh,
My dear friend, you
wonderful.
have to work on yourself. You have to develop yourself. This is a single opportunity, my dear friends.
Yes.
Few decades back, we are not in this world.
Yeah.
And it is bound to be certain, after a certain period in time, we are not going to be live here for long.
Yes.
The question is the contribution, the window which is open for us.
True.
What contribution we have made, what legacy we have left. When the people leave the world, If you are attending any sort of, I'm going to say, what are the last thing you remember about them? It is not about their fancy titles and the finances they left, about their
Yes.
behaviors, about their contribution.
True. Very
So,
true.
my dear friends, you are being a super creation of a super creator,
Yes.
and you had everything is being meant for you to make a lot of things in your life. The
Yes.
last thing I would say, then we can open up Dr. Heather
Yes.
for question answer.
Sure.
Our life, I would say, I will take a metaphor like our life is like a ship in the sea.
Yes.
When the ship moves from one port to the other port across the ocean, what is the one way in which they can reach to the other port? The only condition, the water should not come inside the ship. Am I right?
Very right.
Water should not come inside the ship. But water is so much in abundance. A small ship can float easily onto it as far as the water does not come inside of it.
Yes.
My dear friend, that prevailing negativity in this world, the prevailing negativity is in our environment, even if it is like an ocean, it cannot impact you as far as you do not allow that negativity to come into your life. If you are being able to safeguard yourself from that, you can reach to your destination.
Yes.
At the end, what is from my side, Dr. Heather, one is that book, inshallah, is a PDF version that will reach to everybody as a gift.
Yes.
Second thing is, just with a sense of leaving my legacy, I have my recorded videos on my YouTube channel, which
Yes.
is under my title, Motivational Speaker and Coach, Kamran Ahmed Siddiqui. I invite all of you to subscribe and to get dozens of videos from there. I
No.
will continuously update onto that. So this is my legacy for you. One
Yes.
more thing, make your LinkedIn profile in a
Yeah.
professional way
Yes.
and connect me. You send me your invite, I will accept that.
Yes.
So utilize that LinkedIn. I normally post my articles over there as well. And
Yes.
more important part, Dr. Heather, this relationship by no means it's over. We are
Yes.
one team.
Yes.
Inshallah, in anything, I will be more than available. Over to you, sir. Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Thank you so much while listening to you, Sir Kamran. It was really so valuable advices and so valuable tips for the students and for my faculty members. I'm getting messages from around the world that it's the best narration they are getting and the best examples you have given. And one of the comment I could see that the example you have given on relationship, that is so wonderful for them. One of my colleague from the Australia, uh, actually he is saying that the competency framework is so wonderful, and the way you linked all the activities together for the students, that is so wonderful. And one of my friend from the Lahore, that actually commented that most of the time students, they just ask the question that what is the relevancy of my knowledge and awareness with the uh, practical exposure. For example, if I go to the industry, the things are a bit different, but how, the way you interlink this awareness, skills, knowledge and mastery, now that person actually saying thanks to you that you have given answer for that question, that what is the difference between the theoretical and the practical knowledge. This is how you linked very wonderfully. And that's why I said to you initially that the way you articulate the things, that is so wonderful and it's so easy that anyone can understand in a simple words. And I'm getting another messages that the circle of life which you have shown, everybody drew it, and then they saw that how much discrepancies there are and how can they improve it. And most of the comment is which I'm getting is the on spiritual side. They said that there is a low score on the spiritual side and the high score through the financial and the professional, and they neglected the family and the social aspect. So that is how this is kind of the eye opener for the students, for my faculty and the rest of the world, whoever is listening to it. It's a great message to them that they can improve, always improve. And the thing which I liked the most, which you referred as the individual efforts, don't consider, for example, you give the example of COVID and you give the example of economy. You cannot control the economy, but you can control your economy. It means your limitations. You have limitation in everything. You cannot change the whole world, but you can change within your frame. So try to improve in that one. And the best thing you showed is to for self development. Focus on self development. That is the wonderful advice for them. That always involve in the activities which are productive. And the quotation I could remember is the a man is known by the company he keeps. So you refer to it that go after the best of the best people, learn from them. Why? Because the wise people say you have the common goals and they are ahead of you, so you will always learn from them, and this is how we grow. So wonderful, thank you so much for such a elaborative session and so wonderful. They say that don't read 10 books, go and talk to the genius for 15 minutes. That would be much better than that. So in just 1 hour you give such a wonderful session that you talked about the knowledge, you talk about the relationship, you talk about the different books, you give your personal experiences, and you have also narrated the stories, wonderful stories, and above all you quoted the holy book, the Quran, and you try to connect the different things in order to improve the world and try to impact the world. So may Allah bless you like this all the time, so that you could contribute much better. And as you are impacting the world, so wonderful that. Sir Kamran, we have the some questions from the different people. Uh, Let me just ask the first one. They yes. Okay, there is one question that Sir Kamran, you have written in your book that self-discipline is very instrumental towards attainment of success. So they are referring to it that self-discipline is very much fine, but it is always shaped by the organizational values. And one thing more they are relating to it, that how much the philosophy of time management and self-management works. I mean, previously they are saying that previously there was a time management, you had to manage the time, but now they say self-management. So what's your opinion on that?
Thank you very much for this. When we talk about self-management, as I mentioned, that we have one of the important challenge with us that our quota is very limited on per day. We are being
Yes.
given a 24 gold coins. Even if you are a king of the country, you are not being given 48 gold coins. You are being still have the same quota.
Yes.
And the best part is, what is the best way in which we can manage ourselves? I can share, Dr. Heather, some of
Yes.
my own practice, which I've been doing, and I found it very, very much valuable.
Yes.
Because you might have we have a different quadrants in which we have to be successful in all the domains. It is not a question of being successful in one way and being totally disaster on the other, because success is a totality of these things which comes as a platter in front of you, and then you feel satisfied onto that. So what is my practice is, I actually have divided my whole day into three zones. The
Okay.
first zone, I would say, is a morning time, which is my priming zone. My priming means that is the best productive time for myself. If I wake up a bit early in the morning, so I have some of my ritual, going across for some walk or certain exercise, reading through some of the religious scriptures, either Quran and something, then doing and listening to something of inspirational lecture, that is a part of it as well, making a plan for myself what I'm going to do for the whole of the day. And actually during the morning time, along with my kids, mashallah, who are all grown up, we have a ritual that every day for 15-20 minutes we sit together and we actually go through one raku from Quran, and we actually discuss what is the ideas, the concepts, and the message behind that. So this is called my priming zone. So once I'm being got my priming onto that, so I'm being fully charged, because my mental, my physical, actually I'm being fully ready to take up any challenge for the day. Then my professional day start. So in the professional day, I have some of the rituals. So I would say that if I have to do, I go, I understand this concept that in life there is always a vital few and trivials are many. Vitals few, trivials are many. So I focus on what are my important rocks for the day. What is my important things which I'm being able to achieve at the end of the day. I'm being able to achieve the maximum. I go with the 80-20 principle. So for example, if I have 10 things to do, I focus on what are the 20% of these tasks which can give me 80% of the result. So I start my day from those most important tasks in the day. I have found many of the people, they start their day doing some of their professional work with the most easiest thing, and they just defer to the most important thing at the end, which they are not being able to complete, and that create a lot of more stress. So I start my day, I focus on vital few. I focus on those 20% of those most important critical tasks, which is going to generate me a bigger value. And then I started my day onto that. This is my professional zone. So when I'm being in my professional zone, I'm trying to focus on delivering the value out of it. And if I have a spare time, I continuously work onto myself in developing my knowledge, my experience. And every year, that was my advice by my first mentor. He told me when I was being at the start of my career, he said, Kamran, if you have to become the best professional, each year you have to develop one new related skill in your area of expertise each year. So if I've not been able to do it at least each year, but within 2 to 3 years' time, I develop one new skill in my area. So that is my focus area. So I identify what is I'm going to invest, and there is always a budget for that, which I assigned at the start of the year. So my professional zone split on two things. Number one, delivering value to my customers and adding value within myself. These are the two things which I focus on. So after my professional time is over, then I switch off all the thing, and that is my family time now. So when I entered in my coming back to the office, the third quadrant is my family time. So I try to spend time with them. I try to have our dinner together, or if we have to walk out, we go out, we discuss on those sort of thing. I share my career aspirations, etc., and I get to bed, try to get to bed a bit early so that I can wake up early in the morning. So my life is very simple. This is my self management, because these are the small simple steps which you continuously keep on doing on a regular basis. It gives you a magnificent result. So one thing again, this is my zone of priming. Second is my professional domain. Third is my family domain or relationship domain, and I stay with that. And on my weekends, I have spotted Friday especially as my social time. So we spend time with the families around. We go around, we meet around, because this is my time. Saturdays might be it's a flexible day for myself. Either I go for the socializing or the family, or I can do some of my own reading and sort of thing. So this is a pattern in which I'm managing myself, because I learned you have to discipline yourself on some of the areas in order to get the best result. That was the reason, Dr. Heather, I'm being able to write books. That was the
Yeah,
reason I was being able to write my article. That is the reason I can deliver a lot of talks and things like
yeah.
that. I hope I've answered your question.
Wonderful, wonderfully answered the question. Sir Kamran, we have another question from a student, that a good metaphor for circle of life indeed, but what if we have one rating in every aspect? It will still be balanced circle, but the rating would be minimum. So they want to ask that please enlighten us on this aspect too, if you have a low rating on every aspect.
Right. Very interesting thing, because when we talk about that, even if you have a one rating in all the area,
Yes.
it means that you are being at certain comfort zone.
Hmm.
You don't have any challenge,
Okay.
because getting one score in all the areas, you might be smooth going across. You don't have much of the bigger challenges, and you are being going across in a smooth way. But the question is, this is not the ultimate. You have to grow yourself up to your capacity and capability possible. Because when I talk about, I said five is your ultimate goal in terms of your idealistic concept about your personal life, about your professional life. So when you are at one, you are not in your ideal state. You are at a very initial state, and you have established your standard. You feel comfortable with that, but you do not have a real urge to go on to that part. That is the domain where you have to work yourself continuously, and
Yes.
that is the best part in which you have to deliver yourself. So answer to your question, even if you have a smaller circle, you don't have any issues, because in that instance you have been in your comfort zone. But you have to grow yourself, you have to reach to your capacity possible. That is where you have been able to deliver some of the value to the society, there where you have to deliver. So that's why I'd say growth is always outside of your area of comfort. Even if you are one, I would ask you a question, why not you are being at two? If
Yes.
you are at two, I would ask you a question, why you are not at three? If you are three, I would ask you why you are not at five. So that is the question in which you can continuously upgrade yourself. And one metaphor which I normally use, while
Yes.
you are using your mobile phones, every year you go with the latest version of it. You say this is a version 2020. But why you are being, if you are upgrading your mobiles and your gadgetries every year, why you are not upgrading yourself every year? So I
Yes.
hope I've answered this question. You have to upgrade yourself.
Yes, thank you very much. That was a wonderful answer. And another question they have from your book that you have written that your income level increases the in direct proportion to your learning level. So, what is the relationship? How your income is related to your learning?
Yeah. I think I've talked about that.
Yes.
Basically, irrespective of our titles,
Okay.
whether we say we are general manager, whether we are CA executive officer, whether whatsoever, one title is common, which is written on all of us on our forehead, that we are problem solvers.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
are being paid according to the complexity of the problems we solve in the workplace.
Yes.
So, if how I can solve the problems, my question, how can I solve the problems? For example, if again come back onto competency framework, if my knowledge only limited to awareness and knowledge, can I solve any of the problems of the industry? Answer
Yes.
is no, because they had a practical issues. But
Yes.
if I'm being skillful and if I'm having a mastery, I'm having a bigger capacity and a bigger best solutions in which I can solve the problems. So answer when I say that when you grow in your learning journey, I would say learning journey, when you grow in your learning journey and you are on the mastery level, you have a better capacity to solve the problems. When you have a better capacity to solve the problem, then you're able to charge the money. I remember, Dr. Heather, this is a very interesting story. And that was said that one of the businessmen, he had a machinery and
Yes.
suddenly it stopped working. And that person was very much worried. And then he asked who is going to fix that machinery. They said there was one of the engineer. He has to fly from Switzerland and so come over there. It might took 7 days. It might took a lot of money. So production was stopped. One of the foremen, he said there is one of the student. He's a very genius. As we don't have the options, he's studying the same subject of this textile machinery. If you allow him, we can ask him to do something onto that. Out of frustration, the businessman said, all right, I'm not hopeful that any student can do anything onto that, but you can bring him over and we'll see
Yes.
what he can do for us. So
Yeah.
when the student came, and he was a textile engineering student, he's just go around, see the machinery. He asked, can you bring one of the small hammer for me? And they brought the small hammer. He just go over there, he tap on some of the thing, and then asked the person to start the machine.
Yes.
The person, when he started the machine started operating. And every person was very happy. The businessman asked this boy, he said, boy, you are wonderful. Tell me how much, I mean to say, how should I compensate you?
Very
He
nice.
said, you have to give me $1,000. He said, are you mad? You are asking for $1,000 just for tapping some part or hammering with a small hammer at some of the place? He said, yes, sir. $1 for the hammering
Yeah.
of it, $999 to see where to hammer. And
Oh.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So when you say your learning is
Yes.
directly proportionate to your income,
Yes.
the more mastery you got,
Yeah.
the bigger problem you solve,
Yes.
the better income you got. I hope I've
Yes.
answered this.
Wonderful. Wonderfully articulated. Sir Kamran, we have another question from the MBA student. She wants to ask that lack of mentorship is an important aspect as well. It becomes pretty difficult to transition from student to professional life. What are your thoughts on that? It means whenever we are in the stage of transition from student to professional, we do need the mentorship. So sometimes we do not get it, or sometimes we are lacking that kind of thing. So, what to do to address that problem?
Right. Important thing all mentorship to all of my listeners, whosoever is made,
Yes,
please make it a mandatory part in your life. It is
yes.
not recommended, it is essential.
Uh,
It is more than essential that you should have you must have the good mentors in your life. And you had a variety of mentors. Some of your mentors might help you in your personal life. Some of your mentors might be helpful for you in your professional life, in your
Yes.
religious life. You have a
Yes.
mentors. Number one, first of all, today we are living in the information age.
Yes.
Even if this provision was not existent almost 10 years back, now you have every world best thinker, videos, ideas, books available on the YouTube.
Yes.
And these are being the open universities available for you all the time. Whatsoever the field you want to pursue, there is a hundreds and thousands and tons and load of information and experience sharing is available. Practically speaking, if you are at the student age and you feel like I don't have a mentor in my family and somewhere else, you can choose some of the mentors. Their videos are being available, and you can follow them, and you can get a lot of life wisdom from them as well. That is one.
Yes.
Number two, the transition from student to professional. One thing can make a very swift transition. One thing, one statement right now. You know what is that statement? Which can make you a super successful in your life. And that statement, if you repeat after me, that statement is a three words. I am responsible.
Yeah. Very right.
I am responsible.
Responsible.
When you say I am responsible, being as a student, you will take charge of all the things which you have been doing. So that philosophy, I'm responsible for my results, I'm responsible for my outcome, I'm responsible for my career, it is actually drives you. And the moment you being happen into a profession, being a problem solver, and with the statement, I am responsible, you will own
Yes.
responsibility and you will deliver value. I would say this statement can give you a swift transition towards being a successful professional because it has already makes you successful in your student life.
Yeah.
I hope I've
Yeah.
answered your question.
Thank you very much. We have another question from another student that, sir, don't you think our system taught us if you want to get success, you have to surpass others? So, have your opinion on that, sir?
Right. I so much, honestly, Dr. Heather, I like this question, and my compliment to all of these, my colleagues and students who are listening and been posting such questions. Please carry on because
Yes.
from my side, Dr. Heather, we can carry on as long as there's no limitation from my side. I
Thank you
love to
so much.
answer.
Thank you.
First of all, please remember who we are.
Yes.
First, look into yourself. Look into those fingerprints. I ask you a question. Is there any person in this world who is having the same fingerprints you have been given? Who is having precisely the same DNA which you are having right now? Any of the person which was being there since the world thousands of years back and another thousands of years ahead, not even a single person is going to come who is going to have the same fingerprints, same DNA, etc. You know why? Because Creator is giving us a message.
Yes.
You are unique.
Yes.
You are unique. Your success is when you being able to discover your gifts which are being within you.
Yes.
But if you will try to imitate, to become a B copy of someone else which you are not,
Yes.
you cannot surpass any person because that person has a different DNA, different set of qualities and abilities. You
Yeah.
can only imitate. So rather than to die as a B copy of someone, live like a genuine copy of yourself.
Yes.
Your growth, you have to challenge yourself. You have to become the best version of yourself. Because every year, when you will discover, you will identify there is a lot of margin to go. When you will discover, you will reach there, you will see there is a lot of margin to go. So I would say, become a best version of yourself.
Yeah.
You do not need to beat anyone in your profession. You have to beat your last performance. Whenever
Yes.
people ask me, Kamran, what is the best session you have delivered so far? You
Yeah.
know what is my answer? I said the best session is still yet to become
Yeah.
because every time I do the session, I have to beat the next session. I will try to be the better session than
Yes.
this one. And the next session, I will try to beat my record. So basically, when you beat yourself, when you go ahead in exploring yourself, you become unique, you become significant, and you have a person of value because you yourself genuinely in front of the world. You are not a copy of anyone else. You are yourself. So that's my message for you. You don't need to surpass anybody.
Yes.
I give you one of the example that one of the person has went to a saint, a person
Yes.
said, Saint, I had a lot of challenge. I want to achieve something of value in life, but there are some of the people who are already achieving it, and I'm not been able to achieve it. What is the best way I can do? And I feel a lot of jealousy about their success. The saint has done one thing. It was where he was sitting. It was a bit of mud over there. He drew one line over there, and he asked the person, "I challenge you. Can you rub off that line without touching it?" The person said, "No, it is not possible without touching it. How can I rub that line?"
Yes.
Then he took the stick again. He drew a larger line in parallel to that. He
Yes.
said, without touching that line, I can make that line smaller and insignificant when I have drawn that larger line.
Yeah.
The message for us is if we become a larger line in this world, then all the lines, all the achievements around us of no value. I do not need to rub anyone. I do not need to shorten anyone. I do not feel jealousy of anyone's success. I just have to become and grow larger in my life. That
Yes.
is our to your
Yes.
question.
Yes. Wonderful, Sir Kamran. And there is another quote by one student that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So, please comment on
I,
that. Yes.
I use the word, Dr. Heather. It is not the reaction, it is your response towards it. Because reaction always come with a connotation with the word impulsive. Response is a chosen,
Mhm.
well thought out
Yeah.
response,
Yes.
well thought out choices. So
Yes.
90% is what how we respond to it. If
Yes.
some person is unnecessarily angry onto myself, some
Yes.
person,
Yes.
and that unnecessary anger trigger my anger as well, it means I'm reacting anger with an anger. I'm like
Yes.
him. But if I control my response, I'm being controlling the whole situation as well.
Very well.
Because without my consent, no one can make me angry. No one
Wonderful.
can make me angry. Because this response is within my control. So 90% we respond the way we respond,
Yes.
10% is out. Yes.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderfully said. Sir Kamran, they have one question on this circle of life that if one person is introvert and other is extrovert, how can you create a balance between them?
All right. This is very interesting question because I have not come across even with myself and with some of the other people as well that the persons who are 100% extrovert and the person who is 100% introvert. No, you
Wonderful.
always have some proposition of it.
Yes. Very.
Sometimes people might have some of the people one part is more dominant. Maybe
Yes.
person is 60% extrovert and 40% introvert.
Yes.
So there is no person who is going to be 100% extrovert because you need a combination of both the things.
Yes.
Whenever I had a time for self reflection, I need to be introvert. I need to be stay somewhere in isolation and to reflect upon myself. What are the things that I've been doing? What are the things that I'm not doing well? So this is an introspection. I need to be introvert on some instances. But
Yes.
whenever it's a social gathering like this where I have to deliver something of value, I have to be 100% extrovert. So
Yes.
the important aspect is you need to have a good combination and you have to respond. Again, I will say you have to respond according to the situation. What the situation demands. You
Right.
should be extrovert here or introvert over here.
Yeah.
So you respond according to the situation and you switch over the roles. Should I be introvert or should I be an extrovert according to the situation?
Yes, wonderful. Sir, last question we take because it's already over. We have taken a lot of your time, and we know you are very busy and you have other commitments and things. Sir, they are asking one question that there is a difference between our inbound success and external success. So, how to attain both at the same time?
Uh, can you elaborate, Dr. Heather, what is inbound? But sorry, I've not been able to
Yeah.
understood completely.
Yeah, their question is actually sometimes we have our own satisfaction level, we have our own satisfaction related to the different things, which we call as our inner satisfaction. And sometimes we have to come up with the external success, which means that we do the things for the people. For example, we do try to happy our parents, so we try to work hard to get the good grades, but sometimes we are not happy with the good grades, but we are happy while learning the different things. So the student want to ask one thing, that how to keep the balance between the two things, how to keep your relatives or your family members happy with the external happiness, which may not be important for you, but for them you do this efforts. But sometimes what you do is, you because you innerly have inclination towards that thing and you want to do that thing. For example, you want to be a very good teacher, but at the same time they your family member, they ask that it's not sufficient, you must go for the doctorate, etc., so that you have a good package, etc. So now these are two different things, you do for your own self and you do for the family, are just because of the peer pressure and other things. So they say that how to attain the balance between them two, so that I could be a respectable person in a society, at the same time I remain happy with myself as well, that I am doing good.
There is one interesting, what you can say, a poetry verse in Urdu, if you allow me, if I can
Sure,
narrate that,
sure,
can
sure,
create
please.
something.
Sure.
वो फिर ये है कि मेरी सारी जिंदगी को बेसमर उसने किया, मेरी सारी जिंदगी को बेसमर
Usne ki.
उसने किया, उम्र मेरी थी
Yes.
मगर उसको बदर उसने किया.
Oh,
The
wonderful.
challenge in our life, Dr. Heather,
Yeah.
when we have been all around to make people happy, this is something unachievable target.
Yes.
We cannot make every human being happy around us.
Yes.
We have to come out of this illusion.
Yeah.
I quote an example. I said, the best human beings which are being sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the prophets.
Prophet. Yeah.
Now my question to you,
Yes.
whenever they come into any qawm, any of the nation which they've been preaching and they've been, are 100% of the people were happy with them? Answer is
No.
no.
Yes.
Majority of the instances, the people were not happy. There were a lesser proportion of the people who were being their followers. Now, what was the role model? What behaviors they taught? They stood by their values. They
Yes.
stood by their value of integrity. They
Yes.
stood by their value of honesty. They
Yeah.
stood by their value of giving. They stood being having a good, what you can say, a good human values, a husn ikhlaq to the people.
Yeah.
In the process, they don't care about that thing, whether some persons are happy or whether some people are not happy. They
Yes.
stay with their values.
Yes.
Answer to this question is, my dear friend, stay with the universal values. Stay
Wonderful.
with the value of being truthful.
Yes.
Stay with the value of being a good human person.
Yeah.
Stay as a value of being contributor.
Yes.
If during the process some of the people will feel happy, fabiha, be thankful. If
Yes.
some of the people they are not happy, you don't need to repent anything, because
Yes.
your inner self will be satisfied that you are being standing by the biggest values.
Yes.
That values are like a universal laws.
Yes.
They are not changeable. If
Very
I
good.
give you a grain of salt right now, if
Yes.
I ask you to taste it, that taste is the same if some person has tasted the same salt 1000 years back. That
Yes.
taste has not changed.
Yes.
Universal values are like this.
Yeah.
They are going to stay in the same way.
Yes.
So we have to stay with the universal values, irrespective someone is happy or not. I'm going to be truthful, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to live according to my values. Being respectful is one thing, but
Yes.
it doesn't mean that if I know something of value and something, the way I have to contribute in a better way, I should actually, within boundary of respect, negotiate with my relationship, let them know what I want to have, listen to them, but please don't go in pleasing everybody in this world. You cannot make this happen.
Yes.
Become a person of substance, become a person of value. Don't hurt people emotions. But if some person does not mean feel happy with you, you can only pray for him or her.
Yes, perfect answer, Sir Kamran, for this question. I think it was so elaborative answer for that. Sir Kamran, if you want to conclude, what is your final message to the students, to the professional, and the people around the world who are listening to you? What is your message to them? Any message you would like to give to this world?
I would say last message I would like to quote, and which is very important, which has actually helped me a lot.
Yes,
And I would say that if you buy a car and
sir.
you pay hundred thousands of dollars onto that,
Yeah,
now when you started doing the car, you are still being bound by the manufacturer guideline how to operate that car. It
sir.
has a place to, and to put the petrol. There's a place to put the water onto that. You will not take a risk because you have buy the car. So if the manufacturer asks you have to put the petrol over there, you started pouring the water onto that. And if they said you have to put the water over there, you started putting the petrol onto that. You are not going to take a risk because you know that if I'm going to do that,
Yeah,
it is my car is going to be not workable. It is going to stop somewhere.
yes,
So I would say if you want to have a universal success in life,
yes,
go and reflect upon in the journey of discovery
yeah,
what is the manufacturer recommendations. So
yes,
if you feel like that I have some sort of operability, there are certain guideline for myself. As
yes,
far as you are following your guideline, you are being advancing in life,
yeah,
you are being successful in life. But if you feel like that even in the achievement of all the materialistic things around, there is something I feel depression and sadness inside, I would say this is the right time to revert back to the manufacturer guideline.
yes,
Once you know what the manufacturer wants you to do and you started doing it, your success is guaranteed. Thank
yes.
you very much.
Wonderful analogy, what you have said. You have put it in a very wonderful way that we have this prescription in our hand, but we are not following it. So, if we follow it, we will be successful and we will be a man of value as well at the same time. So, thank you very much, Sir Kamran. It was really lovely and it was very interacting and highly engaging session. I could see in the chat bar that there are bombardment of the students and the other faculty member and my colleagues. They're saying that what a pleasant personality, what a great person you have invited, and it is so wonderful that he gave the practical examples. He tried to connect the different dots which they even not even thought of. So again, that is because possible because of your precious time that you spare, the precious time of you, and you are dedicated to your profession, and this is how I could see your commitment and the way you are coming up with the different works and different articles, the passion I could see in that. And what I recommend to all of my viewers and audience, that you must have the kind of passion as the Sir Kamran has. Only then you can lead the world and you can create the impact on world. And this is how you contribute. As Sir Kamran already said that we will not be in this world after some time, but we will be lived by our thoughts, our books and things to guide our humanity, to guide the world in to be in a better place. So once again, thank you so much, Sir Kamran. It was a nice session. We learned a lot from you, even in short span of time. It was so interacting. I was so engaged that even did not drink a water so that I could not miss any word of that thing. It was so interesting, and I'm getting a lot of requests which I would like to convey that message, that please take another session with Sir Kamran, because there are a lot of questions which are unaddressed, which needs to be cleared and clarified by the Sir Kamran. So please spare another time for us as well. so that we have another sessions with you, not a session, but a series of session with you, that you continuously guide us in a right way and inspire us, which is the best thing, that you are the role model for our nation. And I want the people to learn from you and to become like you. Thank you so much once again. So
Thank you so
thank you. Take care. Allah Hafiz, sir.
much.
Allah Hafiz.